Jerry Morgan. Jerry, could you tell us what Ron's objectives are?
Absolutely. His objectives are to select the right words and sentence structure to communicate his ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly, use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize his ideas, and eliminate jargon and unnecessary words. And of course, use correct grammar. Timing is 6 to 8 minutes.
Ron is an avid world traveler and people watcher. In his years of travel, he has been able to witness many different events that change his mind of the character of a person. He has witnessed these 3 simple words that have changed people's outlook on life and how they perceive others. Those 3 little words that can change your life. Those 3 little words that can change your life, Ron Schmitt, those 3 little words that can change your life.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guest, those 3 little words that can change your life. Those 3 little words that can help inspire somebody. Those 3 little words that can lift somebody on up. Those 3 little words that can improve your life and lift yourself up. Does anybody have an idea what they might be? Lee.
I love you.
That's for the February talk. It's not those 3 words, but it's common what people think. I'd like to share with you an experience that I had last month. I was on a routine flight from Denver to Minneapolis, and we boarded an airplane. It was one of the first ones aboard, so I had my window seat. And shortly afterwards, a mother with 2 young boys got on the airplane. One of the boys was sitting next to me, the mother and the other boy was across the aisle. The mother instructed the older boy to sit next to her and the younger boy to sit next to me. The young man was pitching a fit. He says, "I don't want to sit there. I want to sit next to you, Mommy." And this went on for a couple of minutes. The line started backing up. So I looked at the young man and I says, "Why don't you come sit down next to me? I don't bite anymore." And the young man looked at me, and I looked at him, and I looked up at his mom, and his mom started smiling. He looked up at his mom, and he started laughing. We realized that we just broke an ice to be able to talk to one another, and the young man sat down next to me. Jeremy sat down next to me, and for the next 2 hours, we had a wonderful conversation. He was on vacation from Sydney, Australia. He's 11 years old. And we talked about his soccer and all the other things that he was interested in. And as we were beginning our conversation, the flight attendant came up to Jeremy and asked if he would like some water or some orange juice. Jeremy looked up and said, "Orange juice." And out of the side of my ear, I heard these words, "Orange juice, what?" For those of you in my generation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, I immediately regressed into my childhood when my mother and father used to say those words. And then I transformed into a parent and realized I had become my parent's parent. I'd grown up to be just like my parents because those are the things I said to my child. Jeremy sat up in his seat, looked the flight attendant in the eye, and said, "Orange juice, please." The flight attendant left, got his orange juice, brought it back, and Jeremy said, "Thank you very much." Those 3 little words, please and thank you, a habit in our society that I think we are losing to the newer generations. So I decided to take a little bit of a look at these words and see their origin and their meaning of the words. I was surprised to find out the word please was used first time in the 14th century, not that very long ago. It comes from a Latin placere, meaning to be accepted, approved of. And this goes back to the pie, meaning to make smooth. One author put it very, very simply of the meaning of the word please. It is simply to show appreciation. Surprisingly, the word thank you was also used first in the 14th century. And the word thanks derives from an Old English specidium meaning to give thanks, which in turn derives from the Proto-German term Dankeschön, which also spawned the Middle German term Danke, meaning thank. Thank you, a conversational expression of gratitude, an acknowledgement of appreciation. Please and thank you mean exactly the same thing. An acknowledgement of the appreciation of the event that's transpired between two people. 3 simple little words. Now, if we go beyond this, I believe there's 2 more words to add here and 1 more phrase that I think has truly lost its place in our culture, and that is, you're welcome. So many times today, the 3rd portion of the phrase gets lost because we're so busy in our lives that we stop to give appreciation for folks. After my 2 hours with Jeremy, I decided that I was going to take the next 30 days. I was going to be very, very careful of every engagement encounter that I had with a person, especially in the service world. I was going to grade myself on how I did with using the words please, thank you, and you're welcome. I'm happy to say with the words please, I think I did all right. I scored myself as a B+. I think a lot of those traits that I inherited from my father, or rather beat into me from my father, I still have today, so I'm very happy with that. Now the words thank you, I gave myself a C-. In fact, probably if I really want to get real, I probably failed in that category. And not because I don't say thank you, it's because I believe that a lot of times when people compliment me for something, I use the words, if someone comes up and says, Ron, a really nice report you gave there. And I say, it's nothing, don't worry about it. It's just, it's just a simple thing. I threw it together, it's fine. Well, what I did, and one of my favorite sayings I do is even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. So what I have done is someone has given an appreciation, and I have rejected that appreciation by not saying thank you. I'm making a very concerted effort to say thank you more often to people who have compliments about me. You're welcome. I'm glad to say that I think I got a B+ on that also. And I realize that when someone takes the time to say thank you, that's a great acknowledgement. And so I recognize that is something that I should say, you're welcome, to acknowledge that acknowledgement back. I challenge you in the next 30 days to take the time in your lives and grade yourselves on the words of please, thank you, and you're welcome. 3 simple little phrases, 5 simple little words, and see how they make you feel and the people around you as they feel. If you're walking down the street or in a room and you hear the words, orange juice what? You might want to pay attention to what's going on. Thank you very much.